My room, my sanctuary, the place where my day begins. And where it ends, at my desk, with my nose in a book. I was studying for the criminal psychology program entrance exam. Just as you may have assumed, I would like to become a police detective one day. Mom's not particularly thrilled, but still. In spite of everything, I've applied to the police academy. And I hope I'll be admitted. My father would have been proud of me if only he could see me. My father's life was shrouded in mystery. Due to his job, he used to be a police inspector. His goodnight stories were no fairy tales. They were real. Very real. But in order for them to have a happy ending, I would have to solve a puzzle my father gave me. I loved that feeling. The feeling when I would solve the puzzle and find out the truth. Because that would mean that the bad guy was punished. The innocent one spared, and I would drift off to sleep. Happy because it was me who made it all possible. That's how it all began. I was voraciously going through the pages of the course book. Fascinated by the amount of new information about the human nature and behavior that I was able to find there. This is such an interesting section on profiling. And applicable in practice, too. I already want to try out my newly acquired knowledge. I don't know where all this enthusiasm is coming from. Maybe I've had too many sweets. When you walk in the street, do you ever look up and notice the faces of the people going toward you? Do you ever wonder if they're happy or sad? Do others wonder what kind of secrets people hide? I think about that practically all the time. I even find it challenging to read other people's behavior. That's also one of the reasons why I decided to follow in my father's footsteps. I think I have a gift for that. That's why I was working so diligently and constantly improving my skills. That was my passion. I was interested in the course book, but the constant blinking of my phone screen kept distracting me that time. Akiko's awake, and now she's gonna bombard me with texts. It's time for a break! Akiko is my best friend and the voice of reason. She doesn't take shit from anybody, and she's always brutally honest. Many hate her for that, but I just adore her. Her dream is to become a doctor. I know what you're thinking right now. How can such a sharp-tongued girl be sympathetic and kind towards the patients? I'm not sure either, but Akiko would most certainly do her best in order to control her inner demons, or at least she'd give it a try. I don't remember the exact moment when I leaned my head against the book and closed my eyes. But obviously, it was enough for me to drift off into a sleep immediately. That was how I spent the entire night. I opened my eyes and lifted my head from the book. One page remained glued to my cheek, and I accidentally tore it off by lifting my head. I thought about how ridiculous I must have been at that moment. I took a selfie and went to the mirror. To check if there was any text mapped on my cheek. Ugh, I look terrible. Akiko would die laughing if she could see me like this. I'll save this photo and send it to her. To make her smile next time she feels upset. I picked up the scattered notes from my desk and put them in my backpack. The preparation classes for the entrance exam start in 2 hours. I put on my favorite outfit. But the real truth is that it became my favorite one. Only after I had received a compliment from Katsumi. Katsumi had always been a good friend of mine. But I hadn't seen him much since our high school graduation. We were used to texting each other every day about all sorts of things. I couldn't spend a day without his text. Even if it was just a simple punctuation mark. I hope I'll see Katsumi at the metro station. I caught myself thinking about Katsumi. I had been successfully resisting his charm for quite a while. And that was something not all of the other girls in her school could say for themselves. He was one of the most popular guys in high school. would have thought that a gamer and programmer could attract so much attention, but hey. For Katsumi, it was just a piece of cake. My phone then rang and brought me back to reality. Katsumi thought of me. I saw Katsumi's text on the phone screen and it lifted my spirits instantaneously. The signs of tiredness disappeared from my face and were replaced by a silly grin. If only I had been able to see myself back then, everything would have been perfectly clear to me. I ran all the way down to it as to not miss the train. I was shoving through the crowd and spotted Akiko from the corner of my eye. Huh! Akiko's waiting for me. That means I didn't miss the train. I came up to her and, panting for breath, I said hi. Akiko! Hi!
Hi! You look terrible!
Thanks. I put so much effort in it.
What happened to you?
Nothing. I've been running on my way here to get on time for the train.
We have a couple of minutes left. What kept you so long?
Katsumi kept me.
He was at your place?
God, no, we were just texting each other.
Wow, how often do you guys do that?
Every day.
Be careful! You know he's honey-mouthed. And he was labeled as a womanizer in high school.
Don't you worry about me, Akiko. Katsumi and I are just friends. He never tried anything in person, but yeah. I know how honey-mouthed he can get sometimes.
I know that too.
Sorry, what?
Nothing.
Akiko, in a way, brought me back to reality by saying that. At least she helps me stop thinking about my date with Katsumi. So I was finally able to focus on my exam. Suddenly, I felt a tremendous desire to see him. And check if his behavior was really consistent with his words. What about you? How are your studies going?
Pretty neatly, I guess. What I find the most difficult, though, is going to the hospital and dealing with the patients.
Now you've got me laughing, Akiko. Akiko was going to the Facility of Medicine. And she was a great student. The thing that was bugging Akiko the most was that there were people in need of medical help. But they couldn't get it because of some other people who only thought they were sick. And had enough money to pay the doctors. This may be a little weird to think, but that's Akiko and her perception of the world.
No, I'm serious. I noticed that many of them suffer from hypochondria.
You sound like a real doctor. But it's all happening to them because of the stress and the fast-paced lifestyle.
Yeah, something like that. Hey, I almost forgot! Katsumi called me. He says he's going to the summer festival. The old crew's gathering again!
What about the others? I noticed somebody's shadow falling over me. And I looked up at the person standing behind me. He had a foolish grin on his face. He slightly pulled a strand of my hair and sat right next to me. It was Rokudo.
Hey girls, what are you plotting?
Hi, Rokuro. You know me. I'm getting ready to make someone's life hell.
Rokudo, Akiko's just joking. We're talking about the summer festival. And how that would be a perfect opportunity to get the high school gang together again. Rokudo went to my high school and he's always had a smiling face. The only thing that was getting on his nerves was injustice. It was no wonder he decided to study law and become a lawyer. Apart from that, he's really a sweetheart, until someone makes him mad.
Count me in. It's not like I have something more important to do tomorrow.
Ah, if only we could all be so carefree like you are. You're exceptionally lucky. I hate you, Rokuro.
Thanks, Akiko. I'll take it as a compliment.
Rokudo, where are you headed so early anyway? You going to college?
No way! I'll show up there only when I have to take the entrance exam.
You're lucky because you can be so relaxed about it. I'm already extremely anxious.
You should really chill out a little.
I know exactly how I'd relieve your tension. But I also know you'd turn me down.
Good judgment, Rokudo. I don't want to know what's on your mind.
Oh, come on! Don't be so stiff! I'm really interested in what he has to say, for professional reasons, you know?
Haha, then I guess you'll have to come with me, Akiko. Are you bold enough to do that?
I'm in.
What?
Why are you so surprised? You turned down the offer, but that doesn't mean I have to do the same.
We can make a threesome.
I have no intention of sleeping with you, Rokudo.
Sex? You meant sex. You just couldn't say it out loud.
Rokuro, come to think of it, I think she actually needs you more than I do. Please, do interfere.
Stop screwing with me! I have way more important things on my mind right now.
Stop pouting. I was just kidding you. As a matter of fact, I wanted to ask you to come with me to a tattoo studio.
You're gonna get another tattoo?
Yeah, the pain of getting a new tattoo will suppress all other feelings. In case you change your mind, you know where to find me.
Makes sense. But tattoos are permanent, unlike feelings which are transitory.
That's precisely what I wanted to say. I'll manage somehow. One day, everything will be over.
As you wish, girls.
The train arrived and we had to say goodbye to Rokudo. He waved us goodbye and signaled with his hand to give him a call later. Suddenly, I felt a huge excitement knowing that Akiko, Katsumi, Rokudo, and I were going to be together again. That feeling kept me going throughout the whole day. Akiko's right. Sitting home all day is not healthy. I miss my friends. I miss going out. I could even wear a kimono for this event. I only wonder where it could be now.